All right, welcome everybody. Appreciate y'all for being here today. Just a little wrap up from South Dakota. Just a poor start for us, and really on special teams, I felt like not so much offensively, defensively, but to give up the block punt was obviously disappointing. Something that we have to continue to work on, become more unpredictable there as far as blocking schemes, formations, things like that. And then, to compound it with the long kickoff return right after that, and something that we need to do a better job of. Everybody's involved, with special teams, and just I think just overcoach some things as far as where we thought the return was going and how we wanted to fit it up. But to give them field position then inside the 25 right after that was essentially a 9-0 head start that South Dakota got there, and give them credit too as well. I think that that sequence put some belief and some juice into their building, and really started to set the tone for the day. And then I thought we got some traction after that. Even our first couple drives, we were moving the ball. We just, we're backed up one time, got some penalties and stuff like that, but moved the ball down the field after that to make it 9-7, and then had the ball twice. Going into halftime to be able to try to get out of there with a lead yet in the first half, which I think would have been really good for our guys, obviously. But then to throw the pick, I thought the sequence in the last minute and a half of the first half to get to midfield, to make a poor decision, and then defensively, I just didn't think we did a great job of responding. Like, that's our job in that crucial moment of the game to, get back off the field and get into halftime 9-7, and we didn't tackle very well. We just did not execute there the way we needed to, so that was disappointing. I thought our guys, we got them settled down at halftime. Obviously, one of those things that we hadn't been, in the locker room down by 2 scores all year long. So I did think, our coaches did a good job. There was belief yet. I really felt like, we could come out and play a really good third quarter, get ourselves right back in the football game, and gave up a field goal, which, give them some credit. They made some plays on a few of the coverages that we were in. And then, as we're moving the ball right back down the field to make it 14-19, it was unfortunate that we fumble, and our guys got to do a better job. It's something that we got to continue to coach with them. Offensively, to continue to play the play, all the way till the end, because to be able to get, to get them on the ground would have been a huge play. For them to go all the way down and score now, make it 26-7 was, we knew at that point that every possession now was going to be really, really important. And to our guys' credit, the next 2 possessions, we scored, we ran the football. I thought we really did a really good job of not panicking, not trying to get it all back in one play. Defensively got off the field, and really scored with 12 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter yet to make it 21-26. So there was a lot of game left. It wasn't going to come down to one possession yet. There was a lot of football to be played, and had 2 opportunities to go down there and win the football game. And the first one was obviously got more traction than the second one as far as our drives go. And that's something that we have got to continue to work on, something that I know our guys are excited about being able to get better at. Is all 3 of our losses, we've had the ball at the end of the game to be able to go down and win the football game. So that's something that we got to continue to get better at. And I think the message for last week, we talked about being player-led. I really believe, if you do a good job as a player and you got the right mindset, that you can get substantially better yet at this time of the year, and we need to do that. We have to stay humble enough to understand that, and then starving enough to be able to go out and compete, and not just compete on Saturdays, but compete, Sunday through Friday too as well. And just reminded the guys again yesterday, the penalties, the turnovers, special teams play, like those are why you win and lose football games, especially on the road. And to play and have all those things go against you on the road, and then to still have, an opportunity to be able to win the football game, says a little something about our team too as well. And that's something that we got to be able to clean up. But just reminded them that, those external poisons, like those things can't get into our family here. We have to continue to work on the internal standards that we set forth for our players every single day, and really focus on that. You hear a lot of the guys come up here and talk about us, like it's exactly right. Like it's the Hawks that need to be responsible for the Hawks, and that's where we have to get better and learn from our mistakes. So moving forward to North Dakota State, really well coached. Do a great job of playing physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Got a lot of respect for for Tim and for their program and just the consistency that they bring every single day. We know that we're going to have to play well starting in both lines of scrimmage, to give our team an opportunity to be successful. I think the quarterback he's a load. He does a great job, not just with his arm, and I think he's been really accurate this year and made some really timely plays, doing a good job of getting the ball and distributing it out to their playmakers, but just really not taking losses, being able to break tackles, scramble around. He's a big kid that moves well, so definitely presents some challenges there too as well, like a number of quarterbacks, but I think he's the biggest, most physical QB that we've played, up to this point. And then obviously have an elite receiver. I mean, Bryce is as advertised, big, long, fast, ton of explosive plays, so does a really good job of getting him in space, getting him out in some one-on-one opportunities away from the formation, and we're going to have to do a good job of being able to compete and match up and try to limit, what they do with him. And then defensively, obviously, right now, he looks statistically like they're the best defense in the league, and they present some challenges there. I think, just their personnel, they're good up front, play hard, cancel gaps, strike people. Good to see Dudenheffer back now too as well. That's obviously something you never want to see happen. So to see him back playing again is really good to see. I think both their corners are really good in run support. I think number one is an elite football player too as well, just as far as him running and hitting and covering a lot of ground. And obviously I think their linebacker core just as a whole does a lot of really good things for them and really elevates their defense. So we understand the challenge that we have. We got to come in here, like I said, and have a really good week of practice and prep and put a good plan together for our guys. And then it's all about us going out there and executing and doing the things that you need to do to win a game.
Special teams from North Dakota State has been, a difference maker for them at times. And coming off your game Saturday, how important, or how do you kind of lock in there and try to shore that up?
Well, I think that'll be a huge emphasis for us, and we've done some really good things on special teams this year. So to have that happen was really disappointing, and they do a great job. They in the return game, I think they have an elite return guy, does it a lot of different ways, breaking tackles, hitting it downhill. I think they're just really, really sound, covering kicks too as well. So we know we have our work cut out for us. Like that field position part of things, I think is really important in these games. If you can, make teams have to go 75, 80 yards, every drive and be able to win the field position battle, it becomes hard to be able to do that. And I think that's something that, as you go through possessions and things like that, if you can limit explosives and play well on special teams and keep the field position flipped as much as you can and make teams have to go 75, 80 yards, I think hopefully both teams' defenses, I know their defense plays really, really well, and we have to be able to make sure that we handle them, not only coming after us on kicks, but being able to cover kicks too as well.
What do you think of Jim Kleinsasser getting recognized during this game by the National Hall of Fame? Yeah,
I mean, one of the greats, in our program, a specimen, just a special athlete in any era. There's certain guys I think that you think about, our players would, he walked into the building here today, you'd be like, hey man, like that looks different. He could play in any era. Obviously a local guy, North Dakota guy that went to UND and then went on to have an elite NFL, career too as well. And I think it was good, every step of the way. I remember, the first time I saw Jim Kleinsasser was at a holiday basketball tournament in Bismarck, North Dakota. And I was a sophomore, I think, and he was a senior, and I think he had our starting five laying on the ground, in that tournament in the first 2 minutes of the game. Like just, big, strong, just really, really, terrific athlete. And I think, the thing about Jim too is just how good of a teammate he was, how good of a, just a person he is, and now having Carter on the team and seeing him as a father and just, how everything went down with recruiting his son, just first class and everything that he does, and excited for him to be able to get that recognition here this weekend.
What are your conversations with the team as far as, do you emphasize the rivalry that, hey, this is a bigger game, or is it this is the next game on the schedule. I feel like you can kind of take that either way. How do you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dakota games always mean more, and obviously, just with geographically being close together, you get to see a lot of each other all the time, in the media and all that kind of stuff. So there's a familiarity there. A lot of the players, maybe not as much as before, but still a lot of the players grew up playing against each other. They know about each other. So there's a lot of, just similarities that way as far as guys knowing who they're playing against. But, I mean, ultimately, you win this one and lose the next one. Like, it counts the same on your schedule, right? But, we know that there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of pride in the state, just those types of things, fan base-wise, that mean a lot to a lot of people. And you want to play well. This is a game that you want to win every single year.
And kind of in a similar vein here, like, do you talk to the guys about the national picture and what certain things could mean for playoff scenarios, or do you say, I'll worry about that, you guys don't worry about that?
Yeah, we don't talk about it, honestly. Like, I mean, that'll take care of everything by our performance every single week. I think once you start, score comparison, looking at resumes, doing all those types of things, now you start taking the focus off of you and putting out other things that are out of your control. And for us, like I said earlier, like, hey, man, we have to do a good job of taking care of the Hawks. And us, like I said before, making sure that we do the things that you need to do in order to win football games. That's taking care of the football. That's getting off the field on third down. That's doing a good job of our offense being able to stay on the field and convert third downs. And then special teams, we got to do a better job of being able to for one, flip the field and get better field position for our football team. But two, we need to make some game-changing plays on special teams too as well. We were able to do some of those things, turn over some people on kickoff, make some big hits early in the year. We've had some really good punt returns and kick returns this year too as well. So we got to be able to do that and be productive, but then not be destructive too on the other side of things too as well, and make sure that we're taking care of some of the issues that we've had up to this point too as well.
With rivalry games like this, emotions can run high. How do you keep the guys in check in terms of not getting that taunting penalty or things of that nature?
Yeah, I think you got to keep your poise, and I think it starts with the coaches. It's your behavior. You got to model the way. As far as that stuff goes. Once you get going in the game and you get through a series or two, you just settle in. I feel like, and it's football. Obviously, that it's going to be a great atmosphere. This is why you come to places like this, and why you want to play college football. So yeah, I think it's a lot of just making sure that you remind the guys, you do a good job of setting the tone with them early in the week. But yeah, I think there's a lot of attention that gets put on those types of things, and you got to be able to handle yourself in those environments. So being disciplined, making sure we don't get any foolish or undisciplined penalties is a huge deal for us, and we got to make sure that we can handle the intensity.
Coach, you've already had some loud environments at the Alaris. Is this going to be even louder, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it'll go to a whole new level, on Saturday, and especially if we can get off to a good start. I mean, that's a big part of it. Our team's got to go out there and play well, and we can do that. Then that place, all of a sudden gets even more, amplified. So that's a big thing for us, is to make sure that, we can get off to a good start and get some juice into that building.
And then my final question is how do you feel, or what's your opinion on how the players responded to a tough loss in terms of their process of either flushing it or, the process of wanting to get better? Yeah,
you got to own it. Number one, I think that's the most important thing that we learn. There's a lot of things that we talk about day in and day out here. Turnover ratio, explosive play ratio, field position when it comes to special teams. The bottom line, you get a punt blocked and, they score on defense, your odds of winning the football game are not very high. So having all those things go against us, and then, like I said, still have an opportunity to win. And I think there was a belief that, even when it was 26-7, that, hey, we'll find a way to get back into this, and at the end of the game, we'll have an opportunity to be able to win. And that, that did happen. So you got to own it, you got to flush it, and now you got to move on. And I think the most important thing is that you learn from those things. You learn that a lot from not just what happens in practice, and making sure that you do the things right in practice, that you compete, like I said, Sunday through Friday, but also that you learn from your prior experiences. And I think that's a big thing that our guys need to be able to do here moving forward.
With it being your first year at the helm, what kind of statement do you want to make in a rivalry game like this?
I mean, it's not about me making a statement. It's about our team going out there playing well. I mean, like I said, there's, the cool thing about this game is obviously all the, the fan bases, the attention that it puts on college football in the state of North Dakota. But then also it has, like Tom said earlier, there's some playoff, implications here too as well. So having it just mean that much more, I think, is really important. It makes the game, even more special than it is already. Having, two teams that are, ranked highly in the country, and then obviously getting it to do it at our place. I think every, good football team, every good, whatever sports team in the history of, whatever sports team you're talking about, when they're successful, they do a good job of defending their home turf and their home stadium.
And you're kind of a local guy. What are you most excited about for this rivalry? Obviously, it's not your first one that you've ever been a part of, but what are you most excited about with it?
I'm just excited to go out there and watch our guys compete. Like, to be able to do it and play in this game, it'll be something that, you'll remember these games for the rest of your lives. And just the environment, going out there with your brothers and playing, it's special. It just is. I think anybody that's played or coached in this game, would say the same thing, that they'll remember these games, just the moments, all those experiences that go into it are what make it special.
How do you want your players to use this moment kind of as a building block for the future of this program? Obviously, NDSU is a tough team, rivalry, all of that stuff. How would you want them to use this moment for that?
Well, I'm excited to watch our guys come back and respond here now. We've had, even early in the season, some of the losses we have obviously stung, and I talked about it earlier. We had opportunities to be able to win those at the end, but, just going on the road and having a little bit more adversity, like I said, we have to be able to respond now in the right way. And I think our coaches already have done a great job of just making sure that in the right way, being able to teach guys to be able, like I said before, model the way as far as how you win football games. What are some important parts of the game? What are things that we have to do better in order for us to be able to be successful? And now we move on from there. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals. Like I said earlier, I think the neat thing about it is just being able to play this game late in the year has a lot of meaning behind it. It means a lot for this fall too as well, moving forward. So just excited for our guys to be able to have an opportunity like that.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, like Coach said, thanks for being here. Excited to be here on a Monday, getting ready to roll for NDSU week. But like I always want to recap, South Dakota thought we had a decent week of practice and thought things went well through the week. I thought the guys did a good job of understanding the plan, knowing the plan, and then just being honest, being upfront. I got to do a better job of getting them more ready to go, so that we can go out and start faster, execute better. And, I think it all starts with just hammering the details. Being disciplined is something that we talk about a lot about in our offense and obviously within the program as well. And, just it's on me to get our guys to play more discipline, execute at a high level, be more consistent, and play each play for what it's worth. We talk about that all the time, where you can't let the last play affect the play that's upcoming, or you can't start thinking about plays that are coming ahead and have it affect the current play that's going on. So I got to do a better job of getting them ready to go in that sense and getting them to, be locked into critical situations because, like Coach said, for as poorly as we played, we still had, 2 opportunities of chances to put points on the board and win the game at the end of the game. And, again, like Coach said too, credit to them and what they did, but that's on me to get us more prepared and get us more ready, and get us to play at a more elite level in big games and just be more disciplined and compete better and apply what we're being coached, through the season and through the daily processes of the week. And I love what Coach says all the time. You talk about either you win or you learn, right? And I was just reading something as we were upstairs, game planning. Winners or losers, are just winners that keep trying. It really kind of stuck out to me. We're just continuing to compete, right? Continuing to learn, and that's what I want our guys to do here as we move forward. Just keep learning, right? Because eventually it'll turn out the right way, and keep grinding, keep playing hard, because we're going to get it figured out. So.
Well, Coach, do you feel like there's any theme between, some of the three losses that have, haven't been able to put together that game-winning drive?
Yeah.
Are they a little bit random, or is there something pulled out of there that you're like, we got to do this part better?
No, I mean, we've turned the ball over, number one. We've turned the ball over. We've had more penalties. It's been our executional errors. And again, like I said, Tom, I mean, that's on me to hammer those details through the week, and make sure that I'm setting the precedence of doing the right stuff at all times. We had pretty good 2-minute drills this last couple weeks, and you never know when they're going to show up in a game. But I really talked to the quarterbacks last night about just the belief system of, we had 2 opportunities for, as poorly as we played, to still win the game, and we got to believe that we're actually going to do it, right? And we got to actually instill that belief within our group as we're standing out there, as we're on the sideline, seeing the defense get a stop, get a turnover, whatever it might be. We got to instill that belief and then believe that we can actually go do it and then do it. But the common theme is just our undisciplinedness of turning the football over, Montana, through the pick, and obviously too many penalties. We let the environment affect us, between false starts and holds and things of that nature. But, we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job of getting them ready through the week. And we put them in as many stressful situations as we can, being at practice with crowd noise and stressing them in 3rd downs and 4th downs. But got to get them to just understand, lock in, and stay focused, not let the moment overtake their thoughts, and just go back to their base teachings.
How have you seen Jerry handle maybe what he might view a tough performance on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, he's handled it well. He's really strong mentally. He's a tough kid. Love what he has to say after the game. He's him and I are 2 peas in a pod at times. Hard on themselves. Almost to a fault at times. Which, like I talked to him yesterday. And on the bus on Saturday coming back, it's just, you got to stay positive, and you can't let certain external factors affect your current play that you're in. And we've talked a bunch about make the hero play, don't make the hero play. Make the right play. And I think that showed up a little bit where he felt like he needed to press and needed to make a play here for his team. But on the other side, our guys got to make a play for him too. There's times that the ball's on point, and we got to come down with it. But he can help himself by trusting his protection. It was really good all day. Trust what I'm teaching him, and just hang in the meat of his protection and keep his eyes downfield. And if it breaks down, step up and run. So love his response. He wants to get right back into the film room, talk about it, get all over it and see what he can do to correct it. I expect him to rebound really, really well here as we move forward. You're going to have mistakes. You're human. I call bad plays at times. I did on Saturday. Sometimes they make you look good because the players make the play, and sometimes it doesn't work out. You get beat. So I got to do a better job of getting him prepared, and getting that whole room prepared to get him to feel calm and trust what I'm telling him and trust what he's seeing from the defense so that we can go and execute at a high level. Because at times he did, and we were really good. We were still over 50% on 3rd downs and, almost had 400 yards of offense. So it's not like it's not there. We just needed to be more consistent and take care of the football.
You guys are getting ready for probably one of the best defensive lines in FCS. What are you seeing out of your offensive line as they get ready for a big physical battle like that?
Yeah, it's no different every week. You're exactly right, though. North Dakota State has a great defensive unit. The best will probably play here this year. But it's no different. Roll up your sleeves, get to work. We got to get better. I think, again, talking about our offensive line group, they do a really good job. Ben does a great job of having us on the same page and getting to our right aiming points when we're communicating in terms of different schemes up front. And then they've played fast and played physical. And when they play together, we're really, really special. And, I think we're growing and we're gelling together. And You know, they're all learning and getting better as we move forward. So, you know, we know it's a big challenge. We know that they're really good, but, you know, it's like I just said with the belief system. They're really good too. You know, we got a really good offensive line. We got really good tight ends, running backs. Our blocking unit is really, really good. So that's not arrogance. That's confidence. We got to have a belief system that we can go execute and we can go, you know, do what we need to do for 60 minutes in a game. And you know, they've been great. They come to work every day. They roll up their sleeves. You know, they get after it all week. And it shows in their performances on Saturday. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I mean, it's a great challenge. That's what you want. Like Korey said, you know, earlier, this is the games that you live for. So they'll be ready to go. I got no question about that. I just, you know, like I said, I want us to make sure that we believe and have that belief system within our unit that, hey, we can go execute at a high level.
All right. And final question for me is, you know, a couple weeks now of, you know, dealing with the absence of Gavin. How do you feel the running backs have responded to, you know, sometimes a change of role or an increase in a role?
Yeah, I think they've been good. You know, I think they've been really good. I think Sawyer's been as advertised and done a lot of good things, and got to get him to continue to hammer in on the details of playing the running back position and you know, being a full player, you know, when it comes to being a running back, being a catching threat, being good in protection, as well as obviously running the football well. But then I think you've seen, you know, Chuck and Xavier and Colton Brunel start to kind of gain more trust and more of a package as they move forward. But, you know, they've been really good. They're just guys that we got to get them to trust their aiming points, trust what they're seeing, you know, go out and make the right play, you know, not the hero play. And at times when you got young guys and new stuff, they try to make the hero play, and if they just trust what they're being told, they're going to be all right. So it's a good group. They've been really good. They've handled it well. Obviously, it stinks having Gavin out, but they've done a good job. Coach Davis has done a really good job getting them ready to go on Saturday. So that's through their prep in the week, and you know, it shows.
What does this game mean to you personally?
Well, you know, I mean, I'm from Minnesota, but, you know, when I was a kid growing up watching the VHSs of North Dakota State, North Dakota play is something that I remember, you know, vividly in my parents' basement. So, you know, it's really, really important. It means something to me, no different from any other game that I've played or coached in, that, you know, it's important. It's a rivalry game, and you got to respect all and fear none. And I think, you know, they're the best in the business. They have been for a long time, and you know, our job is to go out and compete and punch them right in the mouth from the first play, start fast, and get an opportunity to you know, get after them. So it's a pretty cool rivalry. It's awesome to be a part of. You know, I'm very thankful, very blessed to be here, to be a part of it, because for a long time, you know, since I was a little kid, I remember watching tapes of these games, and you know, I'm pretty fortunate to be a part of it. It's special. So I want to make sure that we do a really good job as we get ready for it.
What do you remember from 2 years ago, the win at the Alara Center? What was the energy like that day?
Yeah, I wasn't here for that one, but you know, I've heard a lot about it, just in terms of how our guys played and how our guys executed, and the energy that was in the Alara Center. You know, I know they did a really good job of running the football and getting downhill. I mean, specifically going back to watch Gavin get downhill and run over a couple people, and the O-line really doing a great job up front, making plays, taking care of the ball. And, you know, I think that's the energy that you get in the Alara Center. And you know, I think I go back, though, to what Coach talked about with us on Saturday after the game, Sunday as we got back here. Regardless, we can't have external factors affect how we play or our preparation. I mean, we shouldn't. Yes, it's a big game. Yes, it's important, but we really shouldn't do anything different just because it's North Dakota State week. I mean, and yeah, it's really important, don't get me wrong, but the energy of the Alara Center should be there whether we like it or not, you know, and our energy as our group, you know, should be there whether we like it or not. Shouldn't matter where we play, when we play. We control what we do. And, you know, I'm excited to see our guys compete, because they should be pretty upset and frustrated with how Saturday went. We have total control over that, so hopefully we can muster up some you know, people that are pissed off and ready to roll for Saturday. So
You said you saw the tapes from 2 years ago. Was there anything from that game that you kind of want to use in this game? I know you can't say specifics, but was there anything that you saw in that game that you're like, okay, this could work, this might not work? Totally different teams, totally different vibes, anything along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that you go back and you watch those things because the defensive coordinator is still on staff from there. Schematically, relatively, they're the same. We're obviously different on offense, but yeah, you go back and you look at what they did and what our offense did as well, and try and figure out what good things you can basically steal from them. Because everybody says in the NFL it's a copycat league. Well, it's no different in college football either. I mean, we're going to copycat what works and try and use it, right? So, like you said, not to get into specifics with it, but you got to go back, you got to watch those games, and you got to see what you can do to try and create advantages for yourself. But, at the end of the day, we're focused on what we got to do, right, and focused on our process as we go through it. We got to take care of our own stuff because at the end of the day, when you look at our losses, it's been us that we felt have beaten us, penalties, turn over the ball, just lack of execution in critical situations. So we're going to go back, we're going to watch it, we're going to learn what we can from it, use what we can from it, and then, I think it's ultimately about teaching through, Sunday through Friday, like Coach said earlier, getting the guys to understand, trust the plan, believe in the plan, and then, go out and execute at a high level and hopefully do it with some attitude and some controlled rage as you move forward. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm excited to get with the guys and get rolling here.
Does the community's energy kind of contribute to this week's preparation at all? Because I'm sure there's kind of just another level of motivation, per se, from the whole community, especially when this game rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, I think they want it bad. There's no question about it. Our guys want it bad as well, so we're hopeful that the support comes out and we can pack the Alaris and do a really good job of making it loud on when they're on offense and really quiet when we're on offense, so that we can go out and execute at a high level and just put stress on them. We got to do a good job on offense of staying ahead of the sticks and staying out of third and longs and staying out of backed up situations, because that's where they thrive. I mean, they get you off schedule on first and second down. They get you into third and longs and backed up situations where you're stressed to do things that you don't normally want to do. That's where they're really, really good. So we got to do a good job. The community will help for sure in creating a great atmosphere for us out there at the Alaris. But like I said, it's on our process through the week to be the best version of us that we can on Saturday.
Well, Jai, how would you characterize the atmosphere, the attitude among the guys in the locker room from the lost Saturday to where you're at now?
I would say the attitude is to get better. I mean, we dropped a big one on our away game, so I feel like the mojo is to get better this week and focus on us because we did a lot of things wrong in that game. So the mojo is just to get better this week.
As an out-of-state guy, what's your understanding of the NDSU rivalry? What do you expect on Saturday in that matchup?
Being from out of state, I didn't really understand the rivalry because, I just never even heard of it. But when I got here last year in the game, I really felt the energy in that place. So, I mean, it's a big game, and I just felt like that was in that moment, in that big game last year, it felt surreal. So I know it's going to feel again surreal this Saturday coming up. So.
You were mentioning, hey, we need to get better. What's some of the things that you guys have discussed in meetings as to get better this week as you have a big rivalry game?
I would say the three biggest things. In order to win, you have to execute in 3 areas of the football game. You have to start fast, which we didn't start fast Saturday. We got to win the middle eight. We didn't win the middle eight. Well, both sides of the football had costly turnovers. And then we got to finish strong. We finished strong, but we got to continue to finish strong again. So those are the big three things.
All right, and then that next question is you're going up against NDSU that has, a pretty good rushing attack, but they're also their pass attack. Going up against receivers that like Bryce Lance and whatnot. How exciting is it though for you guys as defensive backs to play in matchups like this? I
mean, it's very exciting. I think it's always exciting when you got a test your talents against talented players. You know, you got to rise to the occasion. So I mean, I feel like that's always an amazing opportunity for anybody in the back end. So.
I know being an out-of-state kid, it's a little bit different, but how cool is it to be a part of a historical rivalry like this? Like you said, you'd never experienced something like this prior to that, but how cool is it now knowing how much it means to the community and all the history of it all?
Again, I think it's just surreal. Like, it's an amazing game. It was an amazing atmosphere last year. So, like, being in the game, it just feels, like, amazing. Like, it just feels surreal to me, so.
What have you kind of told the other kids that haven't experienced it yet? Have you kind of walked them through your experience with it yet?
No, I actually have not. I haven't really talked to anybody about it. So.
What would you tell them, though?
I would tell them that it's a big stage and a big opportunity for you to go perform. Like, I think that would be my advice to somebody.
How important, obviously we talk about execution, but discipline against a team like NDSU that wears out teams by the fourth quarter, how important is that discipline, especially once you get to that final stretch of the game?
Discipline is important in every game, especially when you get to the bigger games, just because, you know, discipline is in all aspects of football. You know, undisciplined players, you get undisciplined results. So you just got to be disciplined in all phases, whether it's your eyes, whether it's your feet, whether it's you know what you do, whether it's, you know, going to make a tackle. You just got to be disciplined in all forms of the game. 2
years ago, UND won at home. Talk to me about, I guess, the energy that the Alerus Center brings, especially, obviously, you haven't experienced this yet, but just how much more energy playing at home brings, especially now having the rivalry game here?
The energy at home is amazing. I mean, the crowd noise is really loud. I mean, they're like another person out there with us. They're like a 12th man for us. So it's really loud, especially when we get in false starts and stuff. So it's really amazing. I wasn't here to be able to experience the win 2 years ago, but I mean, I saw it online, and I just saw how amazing it looked. So it'd be nice to, you know, get that feeling again.
Obviously, being a defensive leader, what's kind of been your message to the guys this week leading up to the rivalry?
The message is to focus on us, you know. I mean, that game last week was all about us, you know. We gave up 3 turnovers. We lost the middleweight. It was really about us. We did things that wasn't us. So I feel like the message is just to get back to ourselves.
Korey, what is the team feeling like right now coming out of Saturday, coming off a loss like that? What have you sensed from the guys in the locker room about kind of what everybody's headspace is at right now?
I mean, obviously, you know, people are disappointed. We didn't walk away with the result that we wanted on Saturday, but I think the people, they're having a 24-hour mindset, you know, just being able to flush it and focus on what we have coming up this week. And people are ready to attack this week in these practices and these meetings and getting ready to win a big game this Saturday.
You know, this matchup always kind of brings the energy regardless, but does, you know, North Dakota State being the unanimous #1 team in the country add a little bit of fire or excitement or nerves, or, you know, what do you think of playing the #1 team like that?
I mean, you know, it's just like any other opponent that we play. You know, I think that, yeah, like, it's nice for them that they're ranked what they are, but it all just starts with us. You know, everything is focused on us, and everything that we've got going on in these facilities. It's important for us to realize that we need to stay together as a family and just focus on what we need to focus on.
You know, you guys had those final 2 drives. You know, what's something that you guys are taking away from those drives in terms of trying to find ways to finish it off as you guys had a chance to win that game?
Yeah, I know. It definitely shows us that we're capable of going out there and just making plays and being able to go out there and score on anybody. So I just think that we just need to be more consistent, just starting faster. And I know that we have a lot of great, talented guys on the offense, and I just think for me, like, it just lets me know that we could run with anybody and we could play with anybody and score on anybody. So it just all comes down to our focus and being disciplined.
And then, you know, obviously coming off of a tough loss like that, you know, how do you go about flushing it as you get ready for that next game, which is a pretty big rivalry game, but what process do you go through?
Yeah, just again, like a 24-hour mindset, you know, just taking the wins with the losses, and just having a growth mindset and just being able to learn from things like that. You can't dwell on losses like that. I mean, obviously we want to win, but dwelling on it doesn't help. So, I just think having a growth mindset and just taking the next step forward and focusing on what we got to focus on this week is really important.
You probably heard me ask this question earlier, but how cool is it to be a part of a historical rivalry like this, knowing how much it means, the history to the both communities and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, this is college football. These are the games that you grow up wanting to play in and you imagine yourself playing in these bright lights. I think it's really cool, and it's a big opportunity for us this weekend to play in a nice game. The Alair Center is going to be a great atmosphere, a great environment, and yeah.
2 years ago, UND won right at home at the Alair Center. Now you guys are back. How much does that energy kind of help you guys, especially in a rivalry game like this, playing against a hard team like NDSU?
I mean, 2 years ago it was great. Being a part of that game, it was awesome. The energy in the Alair Center was amazing. And for me, just seeing that happen, I mean, it just shows me that we could do it again. Why not do it again, and just bring that energy back and that feeling back, because it's unforgettable.
What's the community support during a week like this? What has the community kind of been like and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big hyped up game. It's one that people circle on their calendar, so people are going to be fired up and they're going to be happy and excited, and the support is amazing. This community is a great support system, and just they're great about encouraging, and yeah, people are going to be fired up.